Alright, so today I wanted to talk about the game that everyone's talking about, Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS. This is pretty hyped up, especially because it's been about 6 years since we got Brawl on the Wii. And Smash Bros. Is a huge, huge market for Nintendo. Almost, well, if not even more than Mario Kart was. So this has some pretty high expectations around it. A lot of my friends were really hyping this up. Myself, I wasn't too sure about it. I felt like the transfer to a handheld system would be quite rocky, and I think I was right. This game has some pretty cool moments in it, especially playing it on the go, which is a lot of fun if you're on a car trip or something, but at the same time, there's a lot of drawbacks. Playing it on the 3DS is really flimsy and it feels weird to me. Because when you are in a really intense situation, especially playing online or competitively, you want to mash the buttons really hard. It feels weird and like you're gonna break your 3DS. And I'm not playing it on an XL. I'm playing it on a normal size, and I just don't think it is made for the normal size. You need to play it on an XL because, as from what I've heard and from what I've seen from my friends playing it, it really enhances the experience. So if you're a Smash Bros. Fan and think you're going to be playing this game a lot, I would suggest investing in an XL because it is much, much better than playing it on a normal sized or a 2DS, which I've never done. But I assume that it would be even worse on a 2DS just because the screen is even smaller. So that's my opinion on that. And the character roster is quite disappointing to me. They honestly have padded it out really heavily. Having, I think, 4 Fire Emblem characters is way too excessive to me, especially since there's basically two. There's the sword-wielding human character and the human character who can cast magic. And it just feels pointless to have basically 3 clones. You have Marth, Ike, and Lucina as well. And sure, they have their subtle differences like speed or strength and some slightly different moves, but by and large, they're really the same character. And I know that Fire Emblem Awakening did really well last year, so that's why they're, really emphasizing that, but I just feel like it wasn't as necessary. And then they also duplicated characters like Pit and Dark Pit and Samus and Zero Suit Samus, and it is really annoying to me, especially because there's so many great Nintendo characters that they decided to basically, multiply the same ones they had. And then they added in like the Wii Fit Trainer, and not necessarily that these characters are bad in the game, they're not, but they're just so generic and boring. I can't see people being like, oh my god, I really want to play as the Wii Fit Trainer. And I know this has been talked about before, but it's really annoying that of all the vast characters they used, using stuff like Mii's and the Wii Fit Trainer, and duplicating Fire Emblem characters and Pit and Zero Suit Samus, and they did the same thing again with Link, with Toon Link. It's like it basically takes up half the roster just using duplicates of the same characters they have. And then they added in a couple new Pokemon, I think. Greninja is a playable character, and to me that was just a totally random choice because there's way better Pokemon they could have chosen. I get they used one from the newest series, but still, there's much better ones they could have used if they really wanted to add another Pokemon, which doesn't seem necessary to me. But it's not all negatives. The stages I think are actually pretty good here, and the graphics work really well with them. There's a great number of stages and variety. There's some really cool basic ones that people can play if they want to do like a tournament setting or challenge ones. So I think that the stages and the graphics are really the high point here. I've heard some people say mixed things about the graphics, especially because they do tend to slow down quite a bit when playing with multiple people online. But I think that's mainly because of the 3DS itself, and I think this will be fixed on the Wii U version, obviously. But then again, if you've played Mario Kart 8, you know that may not necessarily be the case. So we'll see about that. Overall, I was not necessarily disappointed with this game because I didn't honestly have high expectations for it, but I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed with it, especially a couple days after they get it, because for the first little while they're going to be, having a blast with it, and then they're going to start realizing that the new modes they've added and stuff, it's basically that the game is trying to pretend to have a single player mode when it really doesn't. It's a fighting game through and through. You're meant to play with your friends or online. So if you're looking for a single player experience, this is obviously not the one for you. But what did you expect? It's a fighting game, And I'm sure this will do really well. It'll sell lots of copies. They're flying off the shelves. I know I had to go on a long hunt to get copies of it with my friends because we didn't pre-order it, which is honestly fine with me. I'm glad I didn't pre-order it because then I would have been met with disappointment. Well, not really disappointment, but again, a game that I wouldn't spend $40 on this personally, which is I'm glad I didn't. I don't even own the game. I just play my friends' copies and have watched them play it a lot. I've played through all the modes and done stuff like that, but it feels really empty, and it feels like it's a great place for them to start doing DLC. And DLC on a handheld system, again, I don't necessarily dislike DLC myself, but it's so annoying now how soon it comes out after the game. It's like they're not even adding anything worthwhile that would actually warrant DLC. They're just adding more stages and stuff like that, which again is great, but like, why wasn't that in the original copy of the game? I'm guarantee they didn't need a couple extra months to make extra stages. It's marketing for them, and whatever. If I had to rate this game, I'd give it like a 6 out of 10, mainly because it does have a lot of cool, nostalgic elements, and who doesn't love playing Smash Bros. And just playing with their favorite Nintendo characters, even though a lot of good ones were absent here. They did add Duck Hunt Dog, which is a definite high point for me, so thanks for watching.